The two male vamps were playing a game of cat and mouse with her, feinting in to lure her out from the scant protection of the group of trees she had at her back, building her fear, probably getting off on it as she bared her fangs. Jared's free hand clenched and unclenched in a habit left over from his outlaw days. Though he fought with talons, mental energy, and specialized weapons now, the small ritual of limbering up his fingers still centered his focus. Some things just stuck with a man, even into immortality. He slipped deeper into the shadows surrounding the clearing where the two male vamps had the little female cornered. She had her back against a tree and was talking fast, but he didn't think threats and blackmail were going to hold those two off for long. They were hungry and horny. Never a good combination in a vampire. A worse combination in members of the sanctuary. That group tended to think they were entitled to indulge their baser instincts. And those guys were definitely sanctuary. He didn't even need to see the telltale insignia on their shirts, glowing white in his night vision, to know that. The fact that they thought their urges entitled them to corner a woman on renegade land, this close to a Denali werewolf stronghold, said all that needed to be said. They were not only arrogant, they were stupid. And their kind of stupid deserved to die. One of the men grabbed for the woman's arm. Blood sprayed as she slashed with her talons. The man's curse almost overshadowed the woman's threat. "Touch me again, and I'll hurt you." Though he seriously doubted the woman had the muscle to back the threat, the fact that she was throwing threats rather than screams impressed the hell out of Jared. Sanctuary scum were known for their single-minded pursuit of their goals rather than their compassion. He'd had only a glimpse of her before the men had moved in. His two biggest impressions were a wealth of tawny hair and slenderness. Too slender, which made their ganging up on the woman more despicable and made them more in need of learning a lesson. He cast his senses out into the scene, probing deeper into the male energy, finding the flickers at the edges of the one the woman had swiped that indicated weakness. Jared smiled as he glided closer. That's what he wanted, just a little opening, a touch of opportunity. The moon slipped free of a cloud, bathing the scene in soft white light. He let his mind wander along the beams, a hiss of energy, invisible to all. They shouldn't have felt him. None of them should have felt him. But the woman looked up, and her big eyes turned unerringly in his direction before looking away. "Stay away." The whisper in his mind was soft and sweet, lightly accented, stunningly feminine, like nothing he'd ever sensed before, tuned specifically to his brain pattern. He followed the intriguingly unique path back to its source, sending calm with it. "Stay still." She didn't respond to his order, just slashed at her attackers, going for their throats with a desperation that vibrated outward along with her order. "Run." Again the intrusion into his mind. She was covering for him. Jared smiled at the generous, misguided effort and set his gun aside. It'd be a cold day in hell before a Johnson walked away from a fight, especially against two little pissants like this. It would be an even colder day in hell before he left a woman helpless and alone to fight as best she could, with his mind on saving his own ass. He broke out of the shadows in a burst of energy, spinning the other vampires around with a mental thrust. Weak. No challenge at all. He slit their throats with ruthless efficiency, holding them enthralled while he went for their hearts. "Oh, don't make them watch their own deaths." The feminine entreaty broke through his barricades again, laden with the compassion he'd long since abandoned. He glanced over his shoulder. The woman was staring at him, her face creased with horror and disgust. With a mental command, he turned her away. She fought, but she wasn't as strong as she would like. With her back to him, she whispered, "I'll still know." He didn't want to be hindered by a 5'0" conscience. Damn it to hell, he wouldn't be. But the horror and acceptance in the woman's thought wouldn't go away, and in the next split second, he blocked the vamp's knowledge and delivered the killing blows. The bodies hit the ground with discordant thumps. The woman jumped. He took her gloved hand and pulled her away from the tree. "They were going to rape you." The statement came out harsher than he intended, fueled by the illogical